Thank you very much. That's very heavy. I didn't realize that. Oh, wow. I really can't believe this. For someone who's known for being very long-winded, I really don't know what to say. It took me quite a while to write this. So I'm usually known as a storyteller, and much to the chagrin of anyone who knows me, I live most of my life in hyperbole. So if you will indulge me, I'm going to tell you all a little story. Firstly, let's agree that each recipient of this remarkable award is just simply impeccable. Congratulations to the both of you as well. And it's really my pleasure to be considered among you. And my family says that I'm flirting with the boundaries of young West Virginian. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm still in my 30s for several more months, so thank you. I noticed on Allison's, the picture of her in the NICU. I think I was a senior in high school when that picture was taken. So thank you for that. So some people have very clearly defined traditional lives. They graduate high school, go to college, graduate in 4 years, meet someone, get married, have children, and all this before the age of 30. I am anything but traditional. My path has clearly not been very straight. I think that my path looks more like the inside of Andy Warhol's head after a long night at Studio 54. And when I thought of that reference, I thought I might just be a little bit too old for this award. So 1997, 20 years ago, I was really living the life. I was 18 years old. I was working as a bartender, and I was playing in a rock band, and let's be honest, I was really having a blast. Like most 18-year-olds, I didn't give much thought to the future or what might become of me. But luckily for me, somebody else was thinking that way on my behalf. You see, there was this guy named Anthony Salatino. Anyone here who's in the room here from Wheeling might know him as Sal. Sal was a regular at the place where I was bartending, and over the course of a few years, we really got to know each other. He would just constantly badger me about why I wasn't in school, and what are you going to do with your life, and all this. And I just didn't want to hear it. I was 18, 19 years old. Well, it turns out that Sal and his wife Beth both worked at West Liberty University, and then West Liberty State College, again, dating myself. And Sal worked in the business office, and Beth worked in the registrar's office. And after literally years of them just berating me about coming to West Liberty, I finally, very reluctantly, agreed to let them just show me around campus. And so they did, and immediately upon arriving to West Liberty, I really felt like I was home. It felt like somebody just put a warm blanket around me and said, welcome home. And I thought, this is all well and good, but who's going to pay for this? Well, before I knew it, Sal got right to work in the business office, filling out FAFSAs and doing all this crazy stuff. And on the other side, in the registrar's office, Beth was getting me registered, and she was filling out all these paperwork so that I could be financially disconnected from my parents. They were like this little NASCAR team, they were like the pit crew. I came rolling in there all haggard and beat up, and they just polished me up and made me shiny and new and literally put me on track. So 1999, I was a 21-year-old freshman. I was really excited to get started at West Liberty. I went out and bought a book bag and pencils and everything. I was so excited. And 2003, 4 years later, at the age of 25, at the time I thought that was really old. But at the age of 25, I graduated, completing a double major with an A- average. And when I walked into the gym for commencement, who's the first person I see? Sal. And I felt like I was in this Hallmark Channel movie called The Graduation Present. There's Sal's always there. So Sal and Beth always sort of kept tabs on me and what I was doing, even when, like most of my peers, I left West Virginia for a while. But they still were always right there with me. But after a few years, I decided I wanted to return. So I came back to Wheeling and took the helm at the city. And that's when stuff really started to get pretty cool. So only in West Virginia can a person in their 20s work for the city manager, create events, create things like mobile apps, and directly impact the lives of its people. Only in West Virginia do we have access to the American dream like nowhere else in the United States. Only in West Virginia can we do things like get into college and buy homes and be able to impact our community like we do right here in this place called West Virginia. So in 2008, I came back. In 2009, I joined up with Leadership Wheeling. In 2011, Leadership West Virginia. And then I graduated with a master's degree from WVU. But this is not about my resume. You can cure your insomnia by reading my LinkedIn profile. The point is that only in a place like West Virginia do young people have such opportunities, solely based on the relationships that we're able to build with each other. So 2012, about 5 years ago, All these really cool things are happening in the city, but my personal life was taking a nosedive. I mean, even rock stars have bad days, and I had a bad day for like 3 years. So who made it better? Sal and Beth, right there they were. I came home one day and there was this Christmas present sitting on my doorstep, because Beth believed that even at, especially at Christmas time, everybody deserved to feel like somebody was thinking about them. I mean, can you imagine that? It's crazy. So fast forward to a few weeks ago. I spent some time with my dad and my 2 brothers, who, by the way, are all too old for this sport. And my dad grew up in this little steel town called Mingo Junction, Ohio. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's the place near Steubenville that smells like Coke and looks like Andrew Carnegie was the last person to be there. Until a few weeks ago, we never knew very much about my dad's childhood. But on this day, we drove around Mingo and we were looking at stuff, and my dad was telling stories. There's no doubt I get my love of hyperbole from him. He told us someone fell off a smokestack, was like never right again after that. And then he showed us where he used to jump off the rope swing into the creek at a place called the Second Bridge, and the same place where my very enterprising great-grandparents put something up called a pop stand, and they would sell sodas and things to the kids who were jumping off the rope swing. I never knew any of this. It was really so fascinating. So as we left there on this very gray, cold, cloudy January day, we passed by the AEP Cardinal plant. AEP, the company where I now am in a position to serve the people of West Virginia every day. And it really struck me as I was preparing for this tonight, that juxtaposition of my dad's little hometown in the background with that steel mill looming ominously over the town as we're passing by AEP, this place that has given me this incredible opportunity. It just really, really struck me that there are so many people, especially in West Virginia, who just feel like it's their lot in life to just lay down and not have any prospects. But by the grace of God, I was born into this crazy family who, members of my family often start stories with, so I have this idea. And their ideas are usually enterprising, but they're always in service to others, always. All right, so now we're back to 2014. About 3 years ago, started to get my personal life back on track, so that was like really cool. And I found my faith again, and I began reading the Bible and praying daily, and my prayers turned from, please help me, to show me how to serve. And I prayed this over and over and over. And for those of you who don't know, Jesus isn't like Santa Claus, like you can't just like ask for a wish and he brings it to you. Jesus expects you to take some kind of action. The famous story of the guy who prayed every day to win the lottery, and finally Jesus spoke to him and said, you gotta buy a ticket. So Jesus wants us to take action. He doesn't want to just, for you to just sit back and say, fix this for me. And so I took the biggest action I've ever taken in my life. It was a major leap when I applied for my role at AEP, and holy moly, did God deliver that to me. He showed me, not only did he answer that to me, that when I said, please show me how to serve, but he gave me this platform that was so much bigger and more profound than I could ever have dreamed for myself. Okay, a little more than a year ago, in late 2015, Beth Salatino very suddenly passed away. True to form, Beth amazed me once again as I walked into the funeral home, and there were hundreds of people there, and all of them had a story just like mine. People that she loved and cared for and fed and educated, not because they asked her for her help, not because of any other reason than she just saw a need and she filled it. And so tonight, I accept this award in Beth's honor, with a promise to her and to you to use this platform to continue to serve everyone I can in the Northern Panhandle and people in West Virginia and maybe beyond. And I also challenge you to think of this as not as a culmination of years of work, but for all of us in this room to ask ourselves, how do we serve? So to the Jaycees, I say thank you. You really have no idea how much this means to me. To AEP, thank you for this incredible platform that we can reach people statewide. And to my family, thank you. And remember that I'm not going to be 40 until next year. So thank you.